Hey guys, I wanted to give us a group reading just to kind of give a feel for what's going on and give you some techniques and tools and some foresight for what might be coming to for the rest of the cleanse and the next few weeks. I really feel that there's obviously a huge collective shift going on right now, and empaths usually are forefronters, so we usually feel things before the major wave comes. So it makes sense to me that you were drawn to this class, or you've been really drawn to cleansing things out or shifting your beliefs or really healing things that have kept you held back. But it's been a rough, there's been a lot going on, just a lot. So I pulled some cards because I wanted to get an energetic feel, and just have something to focus on. And I used two different decks. So I used the Mystical Cat deck just for one of the cards, and I used the the Enchanted Map deck for the other two. So I did three cards. The heart of the matter is the center card, and then energetically what to give more of is the right card, and then what to receive more of, which is what I pulled on the left. So I just want to get started here. The first card that I pulled for the heart of the matter energetically with this group and this cleanse is the Good Kitty card. This is one of the major arcanas, and it was in reverse actually. So this card is all about letting go of shame, which is so funny because this week is the solar plexus week, and as we've talked about, the main emotion that blocks the solar plexus is shame. Now, the lower chakras in general are fear, guilt, and shame. Those are the main emotions that block the lower chakras, and also, ironically, are the main emotions that we can be controlled and manipulated with. Anything we feel guilty about, anything we feel shameful about, or anything we feel fearful of, that's usually when we settle for things that we don't actually want because we're afraid we won't get enough, or we say yes to things we don't actually agree with because of a lack mentality or feeling like we're unworthy of receiving more. And so it's an important this card is an important card that's basically telling us there is nothing for us to be ashamed of. That there may be times, especially as we're going through this cleanse, that stuff comes up, certain triggers or certain beliefs that are really uncomfortable to look at because they might feel shameful, or they might feel just intolerable to us. But it's important to receive anything that comes up, any emotion that comes up, any fear that comes up, because as we allow it to come up and look at it and hold space for it and let it be okay and validate it, it's much easier to finally release it. We have to receive it first. But if we're saying the emotion is wrong or bad, or how we're feeling is wrong or bad, or if we're not feeling how we thought we should feel, then we're actually shaming ourselves. And so the heart of the matter is really about loving yourselves. It's that unconditional self-love. And I think that's really important. And interestingly enough, the cat at the top, which is kind of like representing the higher self, is yellow, which is the color of the solar plexus as well. So I thought that was a really powerful card. So if you're feeling any shame or guilt come up, or even just feeling like things are not going exactly how you planned, or you don't see the bigger picture, or maybe things have come up that have discouraged you because you don't see a way out, just know that it's okay to feel this way. Much of this process is cyclical. It's not linear. It's not like you do A, B, C, D, and then E happens. This is a very cyclical process. It's about interacting with different energies and shifting your perspective and your belief, which shifts the way you feel about the energies, which shifts how you receive it. And it's about becoming as conscious of that interaction as possible, as conscious of the interaction you're having with your own self, with other people, with your own thoughts, and really knowing and remembering that you get to say what you feel. You get to say what you're going to focus on. And it's really important to remember that nothing is wrong. There's no emotion that we feel that's wrong or bad. And it's important to allow ourselves to feel them. But just as important to remember, we don't have to identify with them, and we don't have to be controlled by them. We can actually understand where they're coming from, validate them, and release them. So again, if you felt triggered, or if you have felt shame, or if you feel like you've made mistakes and you can't forgive yourself, this card is saying forgive yourself, love yourself, accept yourself exactly where you are, and know that in this space, all things are accepted. All right. And then what I pulled for us to give more energetically was the Ride the Wave card in reverse as well. All of these cards were in reverse, which didn't surprise me. So this card is all about waiting for the right opportunity to move. And this can be hard because when we're noticing or feeling things about ourselves or seeing patterns or we get clarity about something that's been blocking us, but we don't know exactly how to shift it or how to move it, it can feel really frustrating, and we can want to, again, motivated by fear or guilt or intolerance or shame about ourselves, want to hurry and make a result happen, want to hurry and fix it. And this card is saying, slow down, wait for the right wave to ride. Just wait. Now is a time to practice your skills, your skill of focus, your skill of patience, your skill of really looking at your inner dialogue and allowing yourself to just become more aware of how you think and what easily pulls you into a negative downward spiral, or what easily lifts you up into a place of excitement. And also really what makes you neutral, because neutrality is key here a lot of times when we feel conflicting energies, or when we're feeling that anxiety, like we have to hurry and get something done because something bad's going to happen. So I have to hurry and get my shit together, or I have to make sure I'm not doing anything wrong. We can get that sort of panicked feeling. And when we approach our healing that way, what we're energetically saying to ourselves is, there's something wrong with you that I need to fix. And it does not feel good to be told that you need to be fixed on any level. And so it's important to just ride the wave of where you're at, like be calm and wait for the right wave to ride, and listen to your instincts and just keep paying attention to how you feel. And it's okay not to act. Don't act until you feel that inspiration, until you feel like it's inspired action, then move forward. So if you're feeling confused or hazy or anything, just know that it's okay to wait and wait for clarity to come. And that's one other thing I wanted to say about this cleanse that is really important to know, is that when we are shifting our focus and releasing consent that we've made to unconscious programming, we basically are literally shifting the brain. We're not feeding or firing certain neural pathways anymore, and so they start to break away and new ones are formed. This is an actual physiological thing that's happening in the body, and it can cause detox symptoms. You can get fuzzy in the head, feel kind of confused, feel a little overwhelmed, and if you internalize that and think something's wrong with the process, I'm doing something, what's wrong, which is what we tend to do, is always approach ourselves like we're a problem. If we do that, it can start to feel, we can get into that fear mode, like, oh no, I'm doing something wrong. I'm going to be taken over. Something's going to happen. I'm never going to get out of this funk. So it's really important just to stay calm, take some deep breaths, allow yourself to be where you are. Know that these are detox symptoms. If you're feeling any sort of fog, brain fog or confusion, or any sort of pressure to move or make a decision, and just know that you don't have to ever act out of fear or shame or guilt. Become aware of those feelings, let them come up, look at them objectively, allow them to be there, and then wait for clarity before you make a move. So that is what the Ride the Wave card is all about, and that is what the group reading is saying to give energetically. What to give energetically is clarity, patience, objectivity. Just allow yourself time to get through this phase where we're in between, where things might seem fuzzy, and just know there is light at the end of the tunnel. And finally, the third card is what I pulled on what to receive energetically, what to receive more of, and I got the Gentle Gardener, if you can see this. The Gentle Gardener in reverse as well. So this one, and as a matter of fact, I think I want to read this one because it has some key things in here. Now, one of the things that can come up for us when we're dealing with the solar plexus and the sacral chakra, these lower chakras, is any energy of resentment or anger that we've held onto. They get stored actually in the organs. So resentment is typically stored in the liver. And for me, this cleanse has actually brought up some resentment for me that I didn't realize was still there. And so I've been not only doing the work on the conscious side, trying to allow it to come up, but I've also been taking herbs that help cleanse the liver, because I know that resentment is usually stored in the liver, and I can feel it. Like, I can literally feel it. So it's important to remember there's a physical side to this as well. Anyway, all that to say, the Gentle Gardener card in reverse, it says, be your own person, be a conscious co-creator. So we know that's what we're doing here. It says, do you harbor resentments? How often do you reinforce negativity by affirming lack and limitation? Every time you send out a desire for something, but secretly harbor a belief that you're undeserving of it, you plant weeds in the field of your dreams. When the gentle gardener appears in the reversed position, she reminds you to be aware of any negative thoughts or selfish motives. She encourages you to step back and pay close attention to what thought seeds you send out into the world. Weeds choke the life out of your beautiful garden. No need to fret, however, because once you recognize this, you can always remove a bad seed and replace it with a healthy seed. We can always weed our garden. Forgiveness is your most restorative tool. And I love that word restorative because, again, that is what this is all about. We're talking about restoration of our full hearts. And that means restoration of our internal guidance system. That means restoration of our intuition and our instinct, and how those are married, and how we can use those two things to parent ourselves and love ourselves and tune into a resonance of reality that's abundant for us and for others. That, again, that self-sustaining place, which is an actual place and an actual resonance that you can be in now. So with this reading, I just want you to think about, how are you approaching yourself right now through this cleanse? And how do you want to feel? Going back to that first group call, for those of you who were on it, or I think it was our second group call, where we talked about the things we want to work on. And hopefully all of you have set an intention at this point for things you've wanted to shift. A really awesome psychological experiment to do with all of this is imagine who that person is that you, like the things that you want to shift out of your life. Who is the person once those have shifted? What does she act like? What does she feel like? What is her perspective on the world, especially on trauma? How does she hold herself? Or how does she hold herself when other people are having a hard time or going through a lot? Does she take it all in, or does she allow people to have their own experience and respect it and love it and respect them enough to know that they can have their own experience? That's one part of being free as an empath. Another thing is allowing yourself to think what you really think and be what you really be, and allowing that to be okay, which comes with shifting this stuff in the solar plexus. All the things that block us in the solar plexus are often connected to anything to do with our personal will and our self-esteem. So it's important that this week to look at anywhere you might be holding back because you're afraid of what other people might think. So really just take an opportunity to look at yourself this week as usual, and hopefully this reading helped you to sort of get centered. I just want you to know I love you and I'm here, and yeah, feel free to share anything, ask questions, connect in the Facebook group, and I'll talk to you soon. Ciao.